Hello and welcome once again to Podcast by Buddha, your weekly dose on the insights of the animal kingdom. I hope you guys had a lovely week. So, time to focus a little more on our family members, whom we call pets. Now, this episode is a little different from the others. This time, we have a wonderful guest who is a senior, a matured pet. So, as we would love to call this episode a grumpy senior to a happy senior, a senior who has traveled halfway across the world to be here. So, that's more introduction than needed. Let me go back to the guest and the guest's mom. All right, Pamela, welcome to Podcast by Buddha. Thank you so much for taking time. Thank you so much for being here to share the amazing story. Before we get to the story of Coco, we would love to know a little bit more about you, as in a little bit background about where you come from, what you do.
So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me and Coco. I have been living here in Dubai for over 6.5 years.
Okay.
And I am Canadian, but I am also of Lebanese background. So I have history in both countries.
Wow. Okay.
And I've been working for the same company the whole time that I've been here, a conglomerate Emirati company.
Oh, great. Okay, that's nice. So 6.5 years, and what made you get Coco into your life here in Dubai?
So Coco has been in my family's life since he was a few weeks old.
Really?
He just turned 15 this year.
15?
15.
Oh, wow.
But he's only been living with me here in Dubai for 2.5 years.
Okay.
He was previously, he was born and living in Lebanon with my parents' family, my mom's house. So he was raised there, and I would come and go as I visited Lebanon from when he was a young puppy to adulthood. But after COVID, as many people experienced, a change in lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And the at-home help that my mom had after my father passed away, she decided to go back to her home country, and I wanted my mom to be able to travel freely to myself and my brother, who also lives in Dubai.
Oh, okay.
So because there aren't a lot of quality boarding facilities in Lebanon, it made it challenging for my mom to be able to travel. So I suggested that I take him in. And he lives with me. I take care of him in his old age. And she comes and goes as she pleases. So I managed to convince her to do that, and I brought him over. And I've been his pet mom ever since.
Wow, that's a very touching story. That's amazing. Now, I'm just assuming, now back in Lebanon, where he spent his childhood to his adolescence, if I may say, and then moving to another place, Dubai, at that age. Was that easy for Coco?
Actually, I was really concerned, even just for the travel from Beirut to Dubai, because he was considered a senior at that time. He was 12 at the time. And also I was concerned that his environment would change. The weather, the space that he had freedom to roam. My mother's house was quite large and had a large terrace, which was basically his terrace.
His terrace.
And garden. So I live in an apartment in a high rise.
Okay.
So I was concerned about how to acclimate him in that environment, but also to make it comfortable for him and for me.
Wow. Okay. Initial challenges, I'm assuming, were definitely there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because he was already fixed in his ways and he was an adult, so I needed the right advice from somebody like Bao, to help me navigate that change. Yeah.
Great. So that initial phase, I would say, I'm sure Coco was going through a complete change or a shift from his regular routine
Yes.
and space. How did that affect you, like emotionally, physically, if I may say?
Yeah, no, I was committed to the idea to take him on. So I was willing to change my lifestyle, but definitely there was a big shift for me. I normally would not have gotten up so early in the morning or have snoozed several times or, done things later in the day. But with Coco, I had to get up early, super early, especially when during the hot season.
Oh.
So every day. And no matter if I was sick or not, or tired, or, could come up with a million excuses why I didn't, want to take him, I always had to get up if I didn't have somebody there to help me. The same goes in the evening. So, for example, if I wanted to go out with friends, I always had to factor in a time to go back and walk Coco and make sure he got the chance to relieve himself and get some food, and then I'd go back out, or I wouldn't go. Yeah.
So, with this happening to both of you, where did it or how did it reach to a point where you thought that now I need professional help?
Actually, I recognized it from the start. Within the first month, I was introduced to Bal through my brother, who had just adopted a young puppy into his family.
Oh.
So he has 4 kids, and so they were all very excited to have a dog, and so also needed help in training. So he'd actually been to my brother's house several times before I met Bal. So Bal, he came to my environment, to my house, and I explained the situation. That's a bit different. It's not a puppy that's easier to train and learn things, and he was actually quite insightful to me and my environment, and really changed my perspective on many things.
Wow. So I would say thanks to your brother that you could get in touch with Buddha, and Buddha could get in touch with Coco.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Buddha. As in that story is to be honest, I think the first of its kind, that a pup born and raised in a different country, in a different environment, different space, getting transferred to a place which is completely different, and obviously the changes or the differences that it brings along. So I'm sure you would have handled situations like this before, but when you talk about case to case basis, I think I personally am encountering this for the first time. What was your initial thought process? What was your...
See, initially it was, for me, it's very commendable on her, because in this age where people are basically abandoning animals at the drop of a hat, she taking this effort of bringing a senior dog to her lifestyle, taking the decision that I want to change my lifestyle for the dog. It's really amazing.
Wow.
So that's what my first thought was, because I was taken aback when she said the age of the dog, and she brought the dog at this age.
Oh, wow.
So now from Coco's point of view, what we need to understand is a concept of freedom, which we humans take it for granted. Okay. So when you bring an animal and just let him be free in an environment, it is very natural that they need to assess that environment on their own. And that's an environment which they doesn't understand. Okay. And so for us, we kind of living in UAE, there's a huge sense of safety and security with us. We are not concerned about a lot of stuff, right? For example, many parts in the world, we will not open the door if somebody knocks our door, right?
Yes.
So there's a fear of protecting ourselves and all that. So when Coco was uprooted from an environment and got to UAE and just let it be, Coco was trying to understand that environment, and everything he saw was a threat. And at this age, he was losing his eyesight, he was losing his senses, which were his kind of assets.
Yeah.
And with a deteriorating health, and when he has to assess the environment, that made him very restless and reactive. So like, don't come near me.
Oh, was it like that?
So yeah, like I'm an old grumpy grandfather, plus small other things like where to pee and poop and all that. So the whole idea was to reintroduce the environment through Pamela, which again was a huge effort which she put, where she put in the right direction, spent a lot of time guiding Coco. Okay, this is your new place. Step by step, this is what you're supposed to do in this house. And the moment that transition starts happening, Coco started settling down in the house. uh, there is a limit to bring changes at this age.
Okay.
Because we have to think about Coco also.
Absolutely.
So, but there was a balance reached where it was like, no, it was a happy dog in her place.
Wow. So, Pamela, going back, while this transition was happening, was it very evident that Coco is grasping these things, and you could see slight changes in behavior or the regular patterns that was going through? Were you able to see that change?
Yes, absolutely. So Bal had given me some really good tips. For example, to control his barking.
Okay.
To the way I fed him. Even
the way you fed. Sorry to interrupt.
the way I fed him. Yes.
What was it different?
Yes.
I would love to know more.
So in the past, in my mom's house, they would leave out the bowl of food all day long, and he would decide when he was hungry, he would go and eat. And so actually, Bal said, no, you should, pick a specific time where you put his bowl out, leave it out for 15 minutes, and then take it away. The same time, I feed him twice a day, so same time twice a day. And then he will understand there's a time to eat and a time not to eat. And if he doesn't, that's okay. He won't die. So he will try again the next day until he gets it. And I followed it quite well since, and it's been very. I noticed a change in his eating behavior.
That's discipline, I believe.
Discipline, absolutely.
And I'm sure even that change, Coco wouldn't have taken easily the first go.
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, he didn't eat, but then he started to understand that, and it was also in coordination with the barking. So he wanted a lot of my attention. So I phased it where I would stand next to his bowl initially, so that he would feel secure that I'm not going to just leave. And then eventually I was able to put the bowl out, and he would eat during that 15-minute window. And then when he was full, he was full. And that was it. And so he is quite disciplined now because I've been doing it for over 2 years.
Cool. Bhuta, coming back to you on this point, as in, is it only for discipline, or does it have some other motive? To have a very specific time, okay, this is your window. If you want to eat, or else wait till the next window.
See, the entire approach which I take in different scenarios, it's always about building that relationship.
Okay.
So food is a very important relationship which you can connect to your dog.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you a scenario where your dog is freely roaming around. You have food and water kept in one place.
Okay.
He goes there and eats and runs around. So technically, there is no reason for the dogs to be connected to a human.
Okay, because the food is always there.
Yes. So see, one of the reasons I'm saying, see, for example, people think that I brought a dog to my house, so the dog should connect to me. I'm the owner. I'm giving him. So that's not how an animal brain works, right? So food is one of those important gestures where you can build that relationship. I provide food and I'll take it away also. So I will give you a time set. You come, I'll give you food. You need to eat within that time frame, and after that, I'll take the food away. So during a course of time when the dog goes into that repetitive mode, the human provides me food. That's a big factor which helps you build a relationship with your dog.
And respect.
Respect, of course. So also it kind of helps you. There's some other more techniques which is included in this, which when we train puppies, what happens is, food aggression develops and all that. So which can be phased off with this procedure.
Exercise. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about building your relationship with that. Even if coming back to a human world, if you have your kid in the house, you will not just let the kid eat a little bit, go run somewhere, then come back.
Yeah.
right? So the kid has to sit on the table, finish the food, then you continue your next activity. It also brings a sense of focus. Oh, human has provided me
Yes.
food, I need to kind of work on it. So that's the whole reason to build that relationship back with her in her environment.
Great. And I'm sure that I'll still call it trick. That trick worked.
Yeah.
And Coco did accept it finally. And now he kind of knows that's my window.
Absolutely.
And that's my second window.
Absolutely. Yeah, it always follows his walk. So we go for a walk. He does his business. He smells everything he needs to smell.
Okay.
And then he knows to expect that after. So it's almost like, it's
So
a very
overall,
fixed
what I'm
routine.
assuming is Coco now is a little more happier.
I do feel that he is,
Okay.
with structure. He didn't really have structure before. He lived most of his life free, even in the space that he had. He could go, and we had issues in him relieving himself and always marking his territory in the house.
Okay.
So I was really worried about that, bringing him over.
Yeah.
Is having to control that. So I also learned some techniques to,
Nice.
and crate training was one of them. Crate, yes.
Okay.
So
Please explain. That's
sure.
interesting.
Actually, it was really eye-opening for me when Bal said this to me. He said, "You have to understand that dogs are not like humans. They don't perceive things the way you perceive them." And it really sat with me because it's true. I kind of checked in with myself. It's true. Like the way I would see a crate is like a prison, when in fact it's the opposite for a dog. It's kind of a safe haven, a cave. Their instincts this is what I learned from Buddha Bal. Is that it will actually help him acclimate to the environment if I do crate train him. So when I leave the house, for example, I put him in the crate, and I needed to build a positive relationship with the crate. So I started off by putting in treats. So that he would see it as a positive space for him, and he would kind of claim it as his own. And pretty soon he would look forward to going to the crate, and it allowed me the kind of security when I had to leave the house and leave him alone. That was an option, and also a place where he felt safe.
Great. That's an eye opener for me as well. Till now, like 30 seconds back, I also had this thing that why do we have to put an animal in a crate or a cage? Is it not confining them to a space and curtailing their freedom? Is it not? As in, is this not how an animal would perceive it?
Okay. When a human kid grows up, the kid is given a room.
Yep.
For 3 reasons specifically. One, you want the kid to be self-confident.
Yeah.
Okay, this is your environment. Just go, be with yourself, whatever. Spend time, study, whatever. Do your things. Sleep on your own, so that you build. You don't want a 20 or 30-year-old human clinging on to their mom and dad. That's the first step of separation. Second is, of course, when the adults are hanging out, when the kids cannot be kind of entertained, the kid hangs out in their room.
Correct.
Third, when the kid misbehaves, common thing, go to your room.
Go to your room.
So that's basically what I explained, that when you bring a dog or an animal to your house, first thing you need to space train them. What is space training? 3 things: dog space, human space, and how to behave in a human space. Okay. All this training we are doing is not because the dog needs it. No, we need it. We have brought them to our environment.
Yes.
So it's our responsibility to teach them how to live in a human space, which includes potty training to undesirable behaviors like barking, snapping, all these. These are all natural traits which a dog develops. So through this process, our dog learns, oh, I don't need to respond to these things. I have this space. I have to follow the human. I am happy, and human is also happy.
Okay.
So when you have an animal which is freely running around house, what we call as freedom, number one, he's a wild animal in your house.
Correct.
He does not understand any structure which you're putting in. So you will have a lot of behaviors which later on you will term undesirable, bad behaviors.
Correct.
But you just taught him that. Yeah. So first introduce the environment, teach them the boundaries, then they're fine. Look at Joy and Buster sitting together. They should never be sitting in in a natural environment.
Wow, yes.
So when I adopted both of them, they were coming from an environment which they did not understand, which made them reactive. Both of them were reactive. He used to bite, he used to claw.
Okay.
But now here, they are fine.
They're chilling out. Okay, so yes, as you always mention it, like how Pamela also said, a pet doesn't behave or think as humans.
No.
So I now, paraphrasing what you just said, that if you give a cage or a crate to a pet like Coco, for them it's more of, is it positive? Like, okay, this is my space. This is where I belong.
About how you introduce, because a lot of people use the crate in a very negative manner. For example, the dog is let run around the house, no restrictions, nothing.
Okay.
Then you have a guest, and that's the time you put them in. Now, crate is just one of the solutions, because crate was introduced to Coco because the factor of potty training was involved. So that was a crate, specifically crate was used. It can be a room. So common thing what people do is that dog runs around the house, guest comes in, they lock
They
him.
lock him in a room, yeah.
Dog will go crazy in that space, because why have you locked me up? There are people in my house, I need to protect my space.
Oh.
They don't understand. Another factor why dogs love crates is because genetically they are denners.
Yeah.
They live in caves and closed spaces. If you notice, even if you don't give a crate or a space for a dog, dog will find out a space which is very comfortable and cornerish.
Yeah.
Right? That's their genetic way of, okay, I'm safe on 3 sides, I only have 1 side to take care. So when you give a environment, okay, this is your house, this is your room, they comfortably go and settle down. See, I have my dogs which are running around freely. I don't close their crate, but whenever they feel to sleep, they open the crate and they go inside.
Okay. Now I can relate now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's learning. Every word that he says, it's definitely a learning. Even if you are a pet owner or not a pet owner, it comes very handy for sure. And I'm sure Coco also behaved the same way when the crate was introduced to him. As you rightly mentioned, that he was finding it more comfortable to be there, and not just for food and treats, but he feels like, okay, this is my territory now.
Absolutely. In fact, when I was introduced to the idea, I remembered that he would go and he had a spot in my mom's house where he would bury himself under, and it was like he looked for that den. So I really connected to that understanding when.
So he found that den in this crate when
Yes,
he came to Dubai.
yes. Even I learned the size of the crate is important. Like, it shouldn't be. I would have been like, get him a big one. No, you need to get one where he feels secure. That's really why he was marking. He had such a wide territory. Now I understood why he kept marking his territory in my mom's house, my mom's terrace.
Great. Anything else that you particularly found about Coco or his behavior? Because why I'm asking is because it was completely, as we humans call it, a cultural shift, coming from a different country altogether to a very new place. As Pamela said, the climate's different, the space is different, from a big house to a high-rise apartment, and friends are different, people are different. So, what was any of this evident in the behavior of Coco when you met?
See, definitely the biggest challenge here, what we dealt was, which I try to tell people, is the age. People think go by the old saying that old dogs cannot be taught new tricks, which is only correct to a limit. Beyond that, yes, see, he at this age has been plucked from an environment and put in a new environment.
Yes.
Right? So then guide him through it. Any animal will be happy as long as you guide them through. And guiding, so you loving the dog and not trying to put an effort of guiding the dog or taming the dog to that environment is not an excuse for freedom and love. lot of people,
yeah.
I get this, oh, I want my dog to be free.
Free, yes.
Unfortunately, if you have that thought, don't bring your dog to your house.
Let him be free.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's all domesticated. We got these animals to an environment which they don't belong, right? Even if you go 2 generations back, okay, he's coming from a Spitz family.
Okay.
Very less known facts about Spitz was Spitz are the world's best watchdogs.
What, really?
Yeah, the Pomeranians. Pomeranians are from Spitz is from Germany. The breed is from Germany, and a city called Pomerania has the Pomeranian, so that's why it's called Pomeranian, which is more popular.
Okay.
But these dogs were used as watchdogs,
Watchdogs.
not guard dogs. They raise the alarm and send the big dogs to business.
Wow.
When we talk about dogs, what we don't understand is this is a beautiful genetic design which humans have been using and working together to help us in our daily life. So now our lifestyle has changed, but it is the same gene pool which you're talking about. So then we need to kind of guide them through in this process.
So you mean to say that every dog belonging to a specific breed knows what am I supposed to do? I am not supposed to go take the call. I just need to alert the big boys.
Yeah.
They're
That
aware
was
of
Spitz job.
Role.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why a lot of these Spitz-based breeds have barking issues. It's their job. They're designed for that.
And humans call it problem.
Because see, environment has changed. We
Yes,
don't need
yes,
that
yes,
now.
yes.
You get this breed, they look very cute, let them run around the house, they claim the territory, but then it is their job to kind of work on that. Like, just do that. It's my area, now I need to alert everybody.
Perfect. Now, just to wrap things up, as in, after your sessions with Coco was done, I'm sure you would have given a set of follow-up or guidelines to Pamela to follow. Was the rest of it only for Pamela to follow, or your regular visits to Coco would also continue? How was it?
I think Coco, we just did one session. So I gave her a structure.
One session only?
Yeah, that's just build that structure. Animal is happy. See,
Okay.
people think animal training is very complicated. You need to do packages, you need to do a lot of work. And unfortunately, the industry itself is generating so much of complicated terms and terminologies, putting different kind of analysis into it. No, animal training is very simple. It's a relationship which you need to work on. So it's what is the relationship with your dog? In a UAE environment, 99% you're looking for a family dog.
Right.
Teach him to be part of your family. Teach him what he's supposed to do. Rather than sit, stand, jump, roll over. People focus on the tricks and miss out the fundamentals. Because tricks are easy to teach.
Yeah.
That's right. So, so what happens is people focus on that. And initially it gives you a sense of joy and satisfaction. Oh,
yeah.
my dog is
Yes,
giving me
yes.
shake hand.
Yeah.
So, and you miss out, your dog is trying to attack you when you go near his food. So, that's dog's nature, it's okay. But see, the problem, what happens is in a UAE environment, dog is in your house.
Yes.
And if he has food aggression, you have to live with a dog which has food aggression in your house. He will attack you. That's a time bomb. You will get bitten by him
Today or
anytime.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Great. So, Pamela, I'm sure the instructions or the guidelines that he had given you, I'm sure you're still following that. The one thing that I remember was the food 2 times a day, 15 minutes window. Do you still follow that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
And if you miss that window, does he react?
No, I mean, he doesn't get upset. He just will eat the next time because
Really?
he has twice a day. So it's half-half.
So he's completely accustomed or
Yes.
taken that very positively, I would say.
I think so. Yeah, I think as he got older and older, the routine. I feel, maybe Bal can verify this. I feel the routine has become even more important.
Yes.
Because he's lost his eyesight.
Oh.
That routine, I think he relies on it. So I no longer take him to too many new places on his walk.
Okay.
It's the same walk, so that he knows. It's like there's. He sees through his scent.
Yeah. Okay.
And so even at home, So there was a time where I actually had to move within the same building, move apartments. So the layout became flipped on the other side. So he was used to going out, you know, and turning left, for example, to go into the living room. Now he has to go right. Yeah. So I had to really kind of re-guide him to do that because of his eyesight. But yeah, I think. Look, I credit to Bal, who was, you know, really shared a lot of important tips and tricks for me to follow. But also, I'm a pretty good student.
Absolutely, as in,
and I listen well. You know,
Bal would definitely agree that, you know, he always mentions that it's just 20% of the time that I spend with the pet. 80% of the time you spend with the owner.
In fact, I often find myself quoting him to other pet parents that I notice we're making the same mistake as me, and I've often said, you know, what Bal told me: dogs are not like humans.
See, your words spreading like wildfire.
You have to remember they have instincts.
Brilliant. That's how you share the wisdom and knowledge that you get.
Absolutely.
Amazing, Pamela. Thank you so much for your time, though.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for sharing. It was really insightful for me personally, and I'm sure for our viewers as well. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I can always say, Buddha land and Buddha is always here, and Coco is always welcome here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So yeah, that was the phenomenal story of Coco. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you've still not subscribed to the channel and you're the first time viewer, I highly recommend subscribe to the channel. There's more stories coming your way every Friday. So stay tuned and have a wonderful relationship with your pet. Thank you. You're watching Podcast by Buddha.